Kyle, I wish I could sell TV shows like you do, but man, I have to get you into Survivor. This show is very good. All right, it's on Netflix. It's streaming. They only have like 2 seasons, but it's not the same 2 seasons. So it's like every year they get 2 different seasons. There's 37 or so out there. I'm watching 33 right now. It is very compelling. At this point, the contestants on Survivor have watched 30 years worth of Survivor go down, and they are experts in it. They know all the things that work, all the like hashtag blindside, and like someone will be absolutely on top of the world, and they feel like they're crushing it on this show. And it's like, no, 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 no. The tallest flower gets plucked. And sure enough, everyone's like, this guy's really good. Let's get rid of him. Or this person totally sucks. There's one, there's a black woman on the show right now, and she's terrible at swimming. Really, really bad. Swims that take other people literally 15 seconds take her like 7 minutes. And it's just, you wonder if she's throwing the challenge and trying to get her team to lose, but she's still around. And they always talk about getting rid of her, but they don't because she'll be easy to beat later on, presumably. There's a guy, he's really weak and he's not particularly smart. And it's like you're killing your team in the challenges and you're not really helping with puzzles and stuff. Sometimes there's a weak guy that's very smart. And it's like, all right, we all have our skills, right? This guy can't throw a ball to save his life. But when it comes to like doing a word scramble puzzle or something, he carries his weight. Totally worthless people sometimes survive because they're clever and they're like, man, I'm about to get voted off. But I'll tell you what, you're the second weakest person here and you're the third weakest person here. Don't you see how this is about to go down? You need to partner with the worst person on the island to keep us all alive. It's in your interest. And they sell shit. And it, I watched a previous season where the guy was good at catching fish. And he's like, man, I'm safe because I feed this whole fucking crew. They don't want to lose me. Turns out they'd rather starve than have a strong competitor on the island with them. So you have to somehow be like not the worst person because they get voted off and not the best person, but this unnoticed person in the middle while still winning challenges and getting immunities. And the social sneakiness in Survivor is next level. And I remember early on, 30 years ago or whatever, they thought Survivor was about surviving. And it turned out the winner was the sneakiest rat on the island. And it's like, whoa, I guess that's what Survivor is actually like. If, like I was saying before, that like you want to survive in an apocalypse, you don't need a gun. You don't need food. You need therapy so you can make better friends so that you can lead this crowd. Or not lead. I don't know where you want to be. Maybe tallest flower gets plucked, like I just said. I watch Survivor, and normally when I watch these shows, I'm like, these people suck. Often because I know more than they do. I'm like, they're making stupid decisions. I would be so much better at this game. I watch Survivor. They're better than me. They're all better than me. And I'm like, I'm so impressed with like the way that guy manipulated that girl, that guy, and that girl to get them in his alliance and convince them that it was their best interest to leave the biggest, strongest alliance. You're like, all right, you're in an alliance of 6 and I'm in a group of 3 and I'm kind of fucked, right? They're going to pick us off one by one. But dude, you're number 6 on that 6. You don't want to be that. You could be number 1 on my 3. We just get a couple more guys over here. It is devious and interesting, and I'm on the edge of my seat the whole time. And the production value is next level. I watch so much YouTube. I go over to Survivor, and I'm like, "Holy shit! They got time lapse of the storm. It's great." It
Is
Jeff
Probst still hosting that thing?
Yes, and somehow he hasn't aged.
Dude, it's 46 seasons of that show.
46? Oh my! I'm watching.
That's
33.
insane.
Yeah,
wow. I remember like the first 2 seasons, and I kind of gave it up after that.
It's amazing, man. It is a really, really. There was a reason it's gotten 46 seasons deep, and now the people are such experts in the game that is Survivor. Yeah. They like people come on. They're like, I'm a Survivor nerd. I'm a Survivor super fan. It is on my bucket list to be involved in a blind side, to get an immunity idol, to do this, that, the other thing. Like it. And
is it $1 million prize to win it? I can't remember.
I think there's also some money for like second and third, like some of the other
That
places.
inflation has not been kind to Survivor. The
I was
fact
gonna
that they can
say.
still get all those people out on a desert island somewhere for only $1 million for like how long? I wonder how long they filmed.
The one I'm watching is Gen X versus Millennials. But unlike other Gen X people, I don't hate Millennials. Like dude, all these Gen Xers on the show are like, these guys suck. They don't know how to work hard. They don't know how to put their time in, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like
the producers told me to say it, Woody. That's how to say it.
Maybe that's true. Maybe I'm a fool. But I'm like, oh no. The Millennials have their own talents. They tend to work together much better than the Gen Xers do.
Yeah, because in real life, like no one even thinks in those concepts, right? So you need a producer to come in and be like, oh, you guys are Gen Xers. I bet at least 3 of them were like, what's that mean exactly again?
Yeah.
And like, well, these are millennials. What does that mean? Well, let me tell you what millennials are. Well, you mean the group of people there? Shouldn't we get to know them? No. You hate them. You see?
Well, it's definitely true that they're kind of like the 40 and 50-year-olds versus the 20-year-olds. And you know, so sense. You can forget the Gen whatevers and just see like, oh, all right, these 20-year-olds have had the internet since the very beginning. And I think that's created a bit of like social literacy that's different than the 40-year-olds have. And I don't know, I like watching it play out. There's 2 people that got it. They call it a showmance. A boy and a girl fell in love. So immediately everyone is like, that's a power couple. Priority number 1. Vote someone off the island, and they're like in love, like, fuck, is this a mistake? So dude, it is fun to watch.
We're adults. I'll see you in 3 weeks after the show.
No,
I don't know.
it's over.
I'm actually not sure that whatever magic that caused them to fall in love exists off the island.
It ain't real. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Like my dick in San Diego or not at all, bitch. I'm playing the game.
Like he's probably like an alpha on the island, and then when they get off the island, she'll go and meet him, and he's like, you know, doing the dishes at the local Denny's, and you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
what was I gonna say? Oh, and then the other thing, like there's this showmance, right? There's this couple on the show, Taylor and Figgy. They love each other, but I'm like, I am 80% sure this dude is head over heels in love with this chick, and this chick is playing the game. You know, she's like, I've got a puppy dog. I get 2 votes all the time. Fuck with me. Go ahead. I have 2 votes because fucking Tails over here does anything I ask him to. His name is Taylor.
Yeah.
And
he's just trying to get some island pussy. And
I think he is. Yeah, dude.
So she's a bit of a vote whore.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
She's cute.
I like playing the game.
Yeah. And I think at the beginning, well, she said she's really good at manipulating men. But I don't know what the producers tell her to say or what's going on. And you can tell she is.
That's a hilarious thing to brag about. It's like if I pretend that I'm gonna fuck men, they do things I want them to, and it's like, you've really cracked the code,
dude. Survivor.
Guess what, lady? So if I pretend I'm gonna marry you, I can get you to do what I want you to do.
On Kyle. If you give it a shot, you have to give it like 3 episodes or so, because that's when it gets a little good. Like the first episode, they don't know each other. The alliances aren't so bad. But then, 3 episodes in, I'll make it up, 13 days in. And with that, like some real bonds have formed that get broken out of deceit and self-interest. And that's what the show is about.
I'm too cynical to watch that show or any reality show for that matter. Like the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, no, you're not. No, you didn't. Okay, sure they did. Like I just know that it's manipulated the whole time, and then I don't believe any of it's real. I don't believe any of it's real.
All reality TV's.
I don't believe like any of those relationships that are happening or any interactions that are occurring. I don't believe any of it's real. Like I just don't. If you go all the way back to something like Fear Factor, you could tell that was real because it'd go off the rails every now and then.
Well, it was real because it was like, today we're eating roaches, and it's like that guy's eating roaches.
Well, no, you had that one like fight with Rogan where like the crazy bitch hit another contestant, and Rogan's like, "Whoa, you can't hit people," and then the girl's boyfriend sticks up for her, and he's like, "She can't hit people," and Joe's like, puts him in a fucking headlock. They like that was off the rails. That's clearly a real thing that's happening. You can't pay Joe Rogan to like make up a silly fight thing. But on the other hand, like, I don't know. Survivor.
There's definitely real shit in Survivor. There's a chick whose eye is swollen and red, and she has a bacterial infection. There's a guy, I thought he was having a heart attack, but it was just dehydration. There have been people who fell in the fire and got seriously injured.
I saw that season.
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Or maybe multiple people have fallen in fires, but this guy in particular, he was like a great hunter, and he had killed a boar. He had went out and killed a fucking pig with a fucking spear, and to me, I was like, this is the champion of the tribe. This guy, I got behind him full.
You should have his choice of the females.
The next, exactly.
that guy comes out there with his clipboard and he's like, Greg, you killed a pig today. Pick any of the women.
That's how
we're getting real in season 43, people.
He could also make fires, and that's how he got hurt. He was making the fire, and he was doing that thing where you blow on the embers or whatever and try to get it whooshing up. Well, I guess he like mistimed his breath, so he inhaled a big breath of like hot, smoky air and went immediately unconscious, face first into the fucking fire, hands first, really. And like he woke up from burning, maybe 5 seconds later, maybe 7.
A long time to burn.
Long enough that his all the skin on his hands were draped off like curtain material, and he's running, screaming into the water, and he's in the water, and he's and they're like, Richard will not be continuing on with the competition. He had to be taken.
Dude, I can say 100%. Sometimes
wow.
You see stuff in a show, especially a reality show, where it's like, yeah, I could also step on a piece of glass and cut myself on accident. That is a mistake I would never make. I would never, ever be blowing into a fire and accidentally inhale so much that I passed out. I would be the guy, my play would be like, they'd be like, Taylor's a fucking bum. He hasn't done anything the whole time. And I'm like, yeah, you think anyone's going to vote for me in the finale? Certainly not you, you dumb fat ass. Like, just like do stuff like that. And people will be like, man, we got to keep Taylor around. Everybody hates him. No one is going to do it.
Challenges in Survivor are... All right, so there's a challenge. They have to swim out maybe like 200 feet. Get a life ring. That's that inflatable round thing on the side of a boat. And swim it back and touch their pole and the ring at the same time. Okay, cool. So there's 2 guys on each team, and the 2 Gen X or millennials who I thought were going to win, they look like surfers. They've got low body fat. They're fit. They're like surfer guys. And then the Gen Xers, there's one big strong guy, and then there's one like total piece of shit, worthless garbage who's, a fucking buoy. He's not going to, all right, whatever. So I'm like, all right, obvious winners. I'll take the 2 fucking fit dudes. Well, the one big dude, unbeknownst to me, is a national champion football player from the Oklahoma Sooners. And he just grabs both fucking surfers and bear hugs them and doesn't let them play. And then unimpeded, piece of shit goes to get the buoys and wins the game. And and the surfers are like emasculated. They fight for a minute or so, and then they're like, what the fuck am I gonna do? This guy's beating us both up at once.
That's really embarrassing.
They can't hit him? I don't understand.
He was, a big part of it was it existed in the water, and he was taller. So they barely have any grip on the ground, while he has like good.
What are the rules of this combat?
The winner is the person who gets the ring and brings it back.
No, but like eye pokes, groin grabs, scratching.
Legal.
Okay, well,
oh my God, the scratching.
Then I will say this: I say there's not a man in the world who can restrain me and Kyle at the same time.
Bring it.
I'm going. He's going to be blind and nutless. I'm going eyes.
Kyle's going nuts. I'm going low. I've got his balls in my mouth. I'm chewing on his balls. Like
I'm doing this, and unless he hits me with this, I'm taking his eyes.
If I grab the like 17-year-old version of you both against this collegiate national champion in football for Oklahoma, I don't know. See, Taylor Strong is not a good argument, but to grab the skinny version of Kyle from when he was 17, 2 of him, he couldn't do anything.
I mean, but if you're allowed to be dirty,
we'd be punching that guy in the face.
But just keep in mind, as soon as you poke his eyes, he's going to take your eyeballs home with him. He's the alpha.
No, he's only got 2 arms. He can't take both of us.
He only needs 1 finger.
I don't know. I've seen guys take on 2 guys before. You never know, bro.
Nah, dude. No, I'm an internet competent guy.
Yeah. And then afterwards, after this competition's over, there were actually a bunch of rounds I haven't described. Guys have like massive scratches all over their rib cage and shit. Like it was real. They were fighting.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You remember pool fights as a kid? Like you'd go swim. And like everybody, like pool basketball. Pool basketball as a kid, I can't count the number of times that I felt like I was right about to drown, And I'm sure that I did that to other people too, where, you hold them underwater because you're trying to make the basket. And there is a moment where like you come up and it's not a normal gasp for air. It's like, like almost like
Panic.
like your body is freaked the fuck out. And then like you deal with that for 30 seconds and then you go, all right, we're down by 4. Like we gotta do what he did to us.
Water
This
is
is
a
not
great
the season I'm
equalizer.
talking about, but there was this one guy who was super annoying. He was a good talker, and he wasn't a particularly good athlete, and everybody knew he was going to get voted off that night. It wasn't in question. He knew it too, which isn't always common. Usually you go for the blind side. And I think the challenge was to like stand on an uncomfortable pole. And this guy, who had never done really well in any of these physical challenges, just was like, his life depended on it. So he stood on that pole and he annoyed the fuck out of everybody else with his terrible stories and insults. Fucking Jeff Probst couldn't take it anymore. He's like, stop. He's like, there's no rules that say I have to stop talking. I'm distracting myself. I'm not paying attention to my pain, and I'm going to talk the whole time. You're looking old, Jeff. Just saying. I thought you'd want to know that.
Okay, this guy rules. I hope he won.
He was great. He was great. This show is so
hilarious.
much better than I'm describing. To watch,
Dude
these
pulls
people
out a
like-
copy
My
of
grandma
Nine
watches every season of Survivor.
she?
She
Your
loves
grandma's
it.
cool
Yeah,
as
my
fuck.
grandma's cool as shit. She loves
Yeah.
it. My grandma also loved. I think I mentioned this on the show. I was trying to fix her Netflix a few years ago, and she's like, "Yeah, it's not working on this TV, but I've been liking that show Downtown Abbey." And I was like,
Downton Abbey. Yeah.
And I was like, Downton Abbey? And she's like, it isn't Downtown Abbey. And I'm
No.
like, no. And she's like, well, I've been watching for 2 seasons and I thought it was Downtown Abbey the whole time. I laughed at that. I love my grandma. Shout out grandma.
Yeah. Everybody loves Taylor's grandma.
Big listener. Yeah.
Speaking
in
of,
a pure nice way, not that
In a
other
pure
way.
nice way. She's never listened to 1 second of my online
That's for the
antics.
best.
probably a good thing. Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
like, she's like, I'll tell my friends. They'll ask, what's your grandson do again? Can you describe it? And I just tell them he does a podcast and I've never listened because he told me the kind of things he says on there, not the kind of things I should hear. And I trust him. And so she doesn't know. She's
don't wanna do that.
listened to
She's
this
got that
and
much
like,
cooler.
What the fuck?
Speaking of
Yeah.
survival games, did you guys see Squid Games Challenge? The real
I mean,
life
I saw
Squid
Squid
Games?
Game from
No, it didn't.
the
Like
pandemic.
Oh, you haven't
I-
seen that?
I saw the regular Squid Game.
No, when
Yeah.
they
they
did it
did
in real
the game
life.
for real.
Yeah. It
Was
was,
Mr.
like
reality
really
Beast
show.
good.
involved in that? He did something.
Who?
Squid Games, Mr. Beast.
That's a separate thing.
No.
Okay.
No, but
so
it-
Mr.
what
Beast
is
did a
this?
Squid Game YouTube video. There was the Squid Games TV show that's all fictional. Then Netflix made a reality show called Squid Games where they
Yep.
do it for real. Except people don't
Hmm.
die; they lose instead of
Pussies.
dying. Yeah.
Okay.
when they died, they have like black paintballs explode on them to show that they're dying. They fall like they are dying or something. But it was actually really well done. Like I had to keep watching, and the prize money was like $4 million.
4.56 million. That's
Yeah,
a shit
there you
ton
go.
for a reality show.
That's
Yeah.
another. That's what I'm saying about Survivor. It's a little lame that they're stuck with the 1 million.
Before taxes.
This is like a man saying that steak tastes horrible who's never had a steak.
But I said like
They've
Squid
been
Game?
doing that since when was?
Oh
you said
yes, they've been
26
making
years.
a terrible show for 47 seasons.
I don't
Nobody
think it's
likes it.
terrible,
There's no
Woody.
market for this.
I think it's been going since like 90 or like 2000, maybe like actually like pre 9/11 they did one.
I'm
Probably.
just saying they could up the prize money, keep it with inflation.
Keep
You
it with
know, Like, I
inflation,
bet Jeff Probst's salary went up over the years. I bet he's not making the same he made for season 1.
Yeah,
I bet
$1
you're
million
right.
was
I
a
bet
lot
they
when it
spend more
started.
making the show.
That's true.
But you're right. The prizes haven't.
Like,
Zach
you
put it in here. The winner gets $1 million, second gets $100,000, and third gets $85,000.
Again, that's million before taxes. So you're losing half of that after you win. Like that can't
I'm
even
glad
buy a
you
house.
said that because a
You know
lot
that
of
guy went to-
people don't think it's half. It's about half.
It's about half. It's
Yeah.
like, and you can't even. buy
That's
a
why
house with
Richard
that.
Hatch went to prison because he didn't pay that half. Remember the first?
Oh,
winner of
that's
Survivor went to
right.
prison for not
Yeah.
paying
Do you
his
get to
taxes,
keep
right?
it? Because if they're like, all right, Woody, $400,000 or 4 months in prison, I'll be like,
I don't
I'll
make
bring the
$100,000 a month, so let's go.
I don't. Well, you're gonna have to pay a fine and you're plus on top of the taxes.
If you
So
don't
he's
pay
gonna
the fine, how many more months is that? Like, let's work this out.
They'll garnish your future reality show winnings.
It looks like
I
He
they
did
were to
come back
keep
and
it-
like compete again, so that's
Kyle, if
possible.
they were to keep it consummate with inflation,
Yeah.
then the $1 million prize in 2000
2.3.
right now would have to be $1.8 million.
I thought it'd be higher.
Yeah.
They just make it
So
even
did I
too.
actually.
And also that show, I don't know if they still do Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but back when Regis
I don't think
Philbin,
so.
God rest his soul, did the show, it seemed like $1 million was a whole lot of money, like 98,
was.
99.
It
I remember when
was.
that show came on, the idea that you were going to give somebody $1 million on a reality, it's like, oh my God. Because everything else was Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, Price is Right.
Yeah.
You could, if
Susan
you really
won
blew it out of the water.
$17,000 and a
Maybe
fridge.
50. You could win 50 on those shows, stuff like that. Or on Wheel of Fortune every night, there was occasionally some bigger ones. You get closer to 6 figures. And it wasn't until Jennings when Jeopardy started doing that crazy like winning streak shit. But that other guy surpassed Jennings by like quite a bit, I think, and then like total winnings.
What was the show where they asked people the questions, and then like you could call for help at home?
That's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Who Wants
That
to
was
Be a
Who Wants to
Millionaire?
Be- I did Millionaire?
Phone a
Yeah.
friend. Yeah.
Phone a friend,
what-
ask the audience.
What was the one with
50-50?
the what was the one with the briefcases that opened?
Deal or No Deal with Howie Mandel hosting.
And
Does
one
that
of the
sound right?
suitcases. No, I don't think it was Deal or No. Was it Deal or No Deal?
No,
Yeah,
it was
Deal or No Deal.
that was the suitcase.
You've got
one.
the ladies holding the suitcases, and they have
Yeah.
different amounts of money in them. And
Okay.
You keep getting the situation where it's like, do you want to take this much, or do
Yeah.
you want to keep going? And they eliminate briefcases as you go.
Yes.
And it really puts them in a shitty situation because you can walk away with like fucking nothing.
$5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that $1 million or was
Hmm.
that like $500,000? I can't even.
Someone eventually
was $1
won.
million.
I think I saw an interview with Mandel where he talked about someone finally won the like million or whatever.
Okay.
But the odds of
Maybe it's $500,000.
I thought it was $1 million, but
I don't know.
I thought there was like a briefcase with $1 million and then $500,000.
I think the whole thing
$250,000.
combined was $1 million, but the big one was like 500, maybe. I don't know.
I like
yeah,
that. Do you know the story of there was that game where you had to stop the spinning wheel on a thing, and this guy studied the game till he had it mastered.
Yeah,
and
I know about that from Opie and Anthony.
He
Yeah,
just
it was,
ran the score up on him.
Whammy. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that clip, Wolf, you should look it up. O&A, the old Opie and
remember
Anthony
that
show,
show.
my favorite show of all time.
Like before
they
his
did
run.
a talk about it where he timed exactly where to hit every single time in order to make it go to like a vacation or dodge the whammy spots. And so the way that game always played, because it was a square with a bunch of different panels in it, and then inside those panels they had like the cameras and everything showing things, and then the whammy would just quickly go back and forth and everything. And so when people got their turn, they would usually just right away be like, stop. And then they'd be like, oh, you hit a whammy. Sorry, you're out. Or, oh, you got a vacation to the Caribbean islands or whatever. And this guy, they'd be like, all right, Jeff, it's your turn. And he would sit there for like 30 seconds, a minute sometimes, and just wait. And so it'd be like, and just he'd let it keep going until he saw it hit a square that he had memorized meant that the square after that would be a non-whammy, and then he would smack it. And he won. He almost bankrupted that game because they were like, I think they had like an allotment in that game for like every winner to make up to like $7,000. It was in the 70s, and he like kept going, and he was in like the high, like almost $200,000 or something in the late 70s.
It was in
the Price is Right guy, right?
80s.
Yeah.
There's a documentary on Netflix about the Price is Right guy. He basically he was a super fan, and he memorized the prices of every item in the showcase, and he would show up to every filming, and you would hear him because they do that thing where the person doesn't know what to do and they look up at the crowd and the crowd yells out numbers. You'd hear his voice, $1.89. Well, it's $1.89. It turns out, and like this happens enough that people start like noticing that one guy is nailing it every fucking time, and so he's helping other people win, but finally they call his name after years of trying to get on, and he just runs the table. It's a really good Netflix documentary. It's probably called The Price is Right. That would be my guess. But he just memorized the whole showcase. It's a lot of products. I don't know how many. I'm guessing, but 500. It's a lot.